I guess let's go ahead and take a look at our unit 4. So our unit 4 is going to be a bit heavy entailed. I'm going to read this to you, but you're going to pause the video and copy this down. So it says unit 4 quadratic functions. I'll do an introduction. In our introduction, we're going to have 3 forms and definitions. We're going to have evaluating quadratics, adding, subtracting, multiplying polynomials, factoring / solving quadratics, inspection by graphs, Desmos, rational by graph, difference of squares, and this is only going to be for rational only. Then we're going to look at the quadratic formula for irrational. Then characteristics from graphs, projectile motion, transformations, and then our unit 4 study guide or EOC review. Okay, so pause the video, copy that down. If you can't see it, just rewind and listen to what I just said. All right, then again, we're going to focus on making our tabs. So we're going to go ahead and flip over to unit 4. So unit 4, quadratic functions. Pause the video and copy that down. All right, now we're going to go ahead and make our tabs. So what we're going to do is you're going to count the big one plus 1, put a line. Then every 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put a line. 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 So count, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces for 6 tabs. Okay, 6 spaces for 6 tabs. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make those tabs. So as always, you're going to take your cover sheet. Once you've marked your lines, you're going to gently kind of fold it over just a little bit and push it back. All right, line up that first one and draw like a pencil mark. That's going to be your first tab. Label that intro. All right, so label that intro. Okay, then you're going to take that tab that you just created. All right, join it to the cover page, fold it just a little bit. And now your 2 spaces, your next space, you're going to put a line right here, a line right there. And this is going to be factoring and solving. Factoring and solving. Factoring and solving. All right. Once you've created the second tab, you're going to take that one that you just created, join it to your cover page. Now you have 3 pages there. Bend it over a little bit. The next space, you're going to mark the line there, mark the line there. And this one is going to be called characteristics. Characteristics. Pause the video. All right, once you've created that tab, you're going to take that tab up, join it to the cover page, bend it over. And again, your next space, you're going to draw a line on the top, a line on the bottom. And this one is going to be called projectile motion. Projectile motion. Pause the video. All right. Once you finish doing that, you're going to take the tab you just created, join it to the other pages, fold it over again, and then outline your next outline. So this line on the top and this line on the bottom. And this one is called transformations. Transformations. Pause the video. All right, looks like we have just one more tab. So again, fold it over, just mark the top of that tab. And this is going to be EOC review. EOC review. All right, now that you've gone ahead and labeled all your tabs, we're going to make sure we glue the paper in correctly. So we're going to start off with our pieces of paper. All right, and we're going to tear them in half. I'm going to move my book out of the way for just a second. All right, so again, remember to tear the paper in half. You're going to put your ruler past the middle. All right, so right here it says the page number, just past the page number in the middle. Grab a few sheets, some grab in about 3. Put a lot of pressure on your left hand. With your right hand, you're going to pull the paper to your left hand and down, gently applying pressure here and pulling with your right. Make sure when you apply pressure, you see there's pressure everywhere on the ruler, and just pull down. All right, once you cut the pages, make sure they go in order. So put them in order, and you can just look at the page numbers and put them in order. That way you don't get lost later on. All right, whatever else is left, Again, if you just need to do 2 sheets at a time, that's fine. Find the page number. Past the page number is the middle. Put a lot of pressure on your left hand all over the ruler. With your right hand, pull towards your left hand and down slowly and down. Okay. Once you finish that, once again, put the pages in order. All right, now you have your pages in order. You're going to glue them in the book, but please, before you glue, you are going to make sure that your tabs line up. All right, so this is unit 4, my cover page. On this one, I should have an introduction. Now, my introduction, I'm going back to my table of contents. My introduction covers a few things. 3 forms, definitions, evaluating quadratics, and adding, subtracting polynomials. That's what I need to make sure goes on that cover page. So, 3 forms, evaluating quadratics, adding and subtracting polynomials. Okay, so I'm just going to put my pages in, then I'm going to come back and glue. On this one, I should have factoring and solving. And again, to get a little bit more detail, what is factoring and solving? I should have inspection, Desmos, difference of squares, quadratic formula. All right, factoring and solving, factoring and solving, difference of squares, quadratic formula. Okay, so again, just make sure that you're putting the papers in the right spot. All right, on the next page, I should have characteristics. All right, so next page, I should have characteristics. Again, make sure that you're putting them in the right spot. So all I'm doing is just putting them where they need to go. The next one should be projectile motion. Projectile motion. Making sure I put the numbers or the page numbers in order. The next one should be transformations. Transformations. And if you have this in order, then you wouldn't have a problem. The last one should be EOC review. Study guide, unit 4. Same difference. Make sure you just put it in order. So looks like this one should be 2 double pages. So make sure you just put it in order. 2 double pages. All right, now I have put in my paper. I know the papers are in the correct spot. I'm gonna come around and glue them. Now, when you glue your book, please, if you are using my glue, okay, that's glue that looks like this, liquid glue. This is too strong. What you're gonna do is put 4 small dots on the corners. All right, so dot, 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 dot. And you're putting them on like the second line, second line, second line, second line. Do not pass these margins with those dots. So look, as soon as I put my paper down, I can line up my paper. This is what's important. Do not cross the margin on your left and do not cross your margin on your right. Okay, so 4 small dots, second line, 4 small dots, 1, 2, 3, 4. Second line, right? Second from the bottom, second from the top. Put your paper down. Do not cross this margin on the right-hand side. Okay. Gently flip it to the other side and squeeze it. Now, you need to make sure that your dots are really inside so that it doesn't seep out the sides. Okay, and that's all it is, 4 small dots. So again, I'm not putting it right at the margin, away from the margin, second line. Away from the margin, second line. Away from the margin, second line. 4 small dots. Take your paper, line it up. Stay away from this margin. Same thing on this side. Away from the margin, second line. Away from the margin, second line. Away from the margin, second line, second line. All right, put your paper down. Stay away from this margin here because remember, we're going to cut these out. All right, put your paper down. Gently flip it over. Go ahead and solidify it. All right, again, 4 small dots. Second line, away from the margin, away from the margin, away from the margin, away from the margin. Take your paper. Do not cross this line. Next paper, second line, away from the margin, away from the margin, away from the margin, away from the margin. Okay, stick your paper on top. Do not pass this line because that gets cut off. Gently flip your page, solidify it. Okay, and repeat. Second from the top, second from the top, second from the bottom, second from the bottom, away from the margin. When you put the paper in, do not cross this line on this side. And on this side, second from the margin, second from the margin, just small dots, 4 small dots. Okay. Do not cross this line. All right, flip it over, solidify it. Keep going. 4 small dots. Do not cross the margin here. 4 small dots. Do not cross the margin here. And if you get any glue on the side, just wipe it off. All right, flip the page over, solidify it. All right, same thing, 2 4 small dots. Stay away from this margin. Other side, 4 small dots. Stay away from this margin. Next page, solidify. Looks like we got one more. 4 small dots. Do not cross this margin. Last page. 4 small dots. Do not cross this line. All right, so go ahead and solidify the glue by doing that gently. Now you gotta go through each page and make sure there's no glue. If there's any glue, wipe it off. All right, once you're sure that you've stuck the pages in correctly, in other words, they match the tabs, then you're gonna come to cut it. So we're gonna come to cut the tabs open. This will make the tabs be visible. So you're gonna start on your cover page. On your cover page, you're gonna line up your ruler with the margin all the way down. Put pressure on your left hand with your right hand. Pull towards your hand and down gently. Pull towards your hand and down gently. Flip the page over. Go to the first tab. Cut it to the margin. Pressure. Using your other hand, gently tear it. And then line up your ruler. Pressure on my left hand with my right hand. Push towards my hand and down. Towards my hand and down. And every time you make a tab, you'll see it appear. Okay. Again, cut to the margin, gently, line it up with the margin, pressure on your left hand, with your right hand pull to your hand and down. Each time a full tab should appear. Cut to the margin and cut all the way down. Cut to the margin and cut all the way down. Cut to the margin and cut all the way down. The last one you don't need to cut, it's already there. So now when you put your book back, you should be able to see all your tabs easily, and you should be able to get to whatever you need to get to. So if I need to get to projectile motion, for instance, I go to projectile motion, grab it, and boom. What do I see? Projectile motion. All right, so that's it. That's how you set up your unit for quadratic functions.